Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm not 100% sure if I'm live or not yet. Just give it a moment. Yes, I think I am live now. Good morning, everyone. I am here in Mougins. It's an absolutely beautiful day here. I have the patio door opened. I wish you could see out my door right now. It is blue, blue skies. And I'm looking out onto the beautiful garden, and there's a breeze coming in the door. And I am hoping that it's going to stay quiet out there and that somebody doesn't go to cutting the lawn, so I can leave the door open during this live. If you're joining me live here this morning, say good morning, say hi, let me know who is here. I love to know who is here right now with me. Let me know. I'm just checking that I am live in the right group. Okay, I was a little early, so I'm just waiting for people to join right now. So I'll just chit chat while I'm waiting for people to join. I'm just going to pop a comment in here to let everyone know where I am. This may or may not work. I never quite know how this at everyone works, or sometimes you can put at highlight and it alerts people to your post or to your live. So I'm just going to do that now. For some reason, it's not at highlight yet. So this will alert people who have signed up for the program. I'm just seeing some eyes joining now. So if you're joining live, say good morning, say hi, and let me know where you're joining from. This morning, we're going to be talking about, yes, once again, all things money, why you struggle to charge your work and how you can change that. So that's what our topic this morning. And I would love you guys to participate alongside with me. It always makes it much, much better if I have your guys' comments. If you could just let me know, what you're struggling with. I will also be sharing a recent poll that I did in my Savvy Stylist group, where we will talk about why people think they have a problem with charging their work, why they have a problem with pricing. Okay, so let me know if you're here live. Right now, I'm just seeing one eye. It could be that things are just a little bit slower. Jan is here. Morning, Aileen. I'm here from my little home office in sunny Cheshire. Amazing. That sounds amazing, Jan. It sounds like a really, really nice part of the world. Okay, so this morning we are talking about pricing and charging your work. And the first thing I really want to talk about is the reasons behind why we struggle to charge. If you struggle to charge, you as a woman, it really is no wonder because of a few of the points that I'm going to talk about. So I want you to follow along with me and let me know if you agree with me or don't agree with you. So agree with me. So I'm going to talk about 3 reasons why most women entrepreneurs struggle to charge. And I was one of those women, and I had to overcome the mindset around money to be able to charge my worth. So I'm going to start with number one. Number one, why women struggle to charge their worth. And I'm just going to show it on the screen here. Women are trained to be polite first and foremost. From when we are tiny little girls all the way up into adulthood and as women, we are trained to be polite first and foremost. And that is, you know, ingrained into us from a very young age by our parents, by our teachers, by society, by everyone around us that, to be deemed worthy, you need to be polite and first and foremost. So oftentimes when we get pushback from clients, that rears its head and we find it very hard to say no. We find it really, really difficult to say, actually, no, this is my price and this is how much you need to pay me for the service. But oftentimes, when we get some pushback on our prices, What we do is we do the polite thing and we agree to whatever our client wants or potential client wants, and then we end up feeling resentful. And I think this is because we really struggle to say no. We really like to say as polite as possible. And even when people are asking us for things for free and for services for free, especially at the start, we struggle to say no. There is a charge associated with this. This is how much you need to pay. Oftentimes, family will ask us, for a free color analysis or a free styling session. And, we struggle. We want to give it away for free because we feel guilty if we don't. We feel like that the expectation is that we give it away for free. We feel that people will think we're rude if we say no. And we revert back to that idea that we need to be polite. How many of you have been asked to do a color analysis for free? I would love to know in the chat. Let me know in the chat who has been asked to do a color analysis for free. I definitely think, especially in those early years, there was an expectation from some of my friends and some of my family that I would do things for free. And one of the things that I used to do was color analysis demonstrations. And on those color analysis demonstrations, I would take one person out of the audience and I would show them the drapes that would, suit this particular person. And then there was people in the audience who would come up and actually ask me for, to tell me their colors for free. And I find it really, really difficult to say, there is a cost associated with that, and you need to come into my office and we need to do the draping and we need to do all these tests. So Julie is saying, yes, she is one of the people. I am definitely one of the people that struggled at the start. But then I got more clever as time went on. And what I did was I used to, put away the drapes as soon as I was finished the demo, because people would go up and literally take my drapes and put them on themselves in the mirror and try to guess what their colors were. So people are crazy. People will try to get it for free if they can. Well, at least some people will try to get it for free if they can. And it's up to you to, put a boundary in place and say, no, you can't play with my drapes. If you would like to come and get your colors done, put your name on this list and I'll get in touch with you and let you know how it would work. Or, whatever way you want to. Let them know that it's a service and there's a paid amount involved. So Jan said, not directly, but definitely implied, yes. So, I've had people like send me clothes and ask me, does this suit my coloring? So it's difficult. It's difficult at the start, but it's up to you. It's not up to the other person. People are not going to change. It's up to you to kind of say, okay, I can do this politely. You can still do it politely, but you need to be firm. You need to be firm and you need to say there is a cost associated with this. So this is reason number one, why we really struggle to charge our work. We struggle to charge our work because, we're not used to saying no. We're not used to saying there's a price associated with this. And that takes practice. It takes maybe even scripting out what you're going to say beforehand. I remember having the conversation with my assistant at the time saying, it drives me absolutely crazy when people come up and they put their hands on my drapes and they start draping themselves. What can I do? And she was the one that said, Marty, she said to me, I can be there. I can get them into the box as soon as you're finished. And we don't need to do this. You just need to set the boundary and have a list there so people can fill in their details if they're interested in this service going forward. That's it, full stop. So it's about clear boundaries, but we struggle with these. We really struggle with this. Okay, let's go to reason number 2, why women entrepreneurs, why stylists struggle to charge their worth. Women are taught, again, from an early age that our labor is an expectation. There is an expectation that you know, we are paid less than men. Up till now, we're still paid significantly less than men. You know, we're considered, you know, too masculine if we ask for a raise, or if we put ourselves out there, or if we ask for what we want. So again, we're taught from a young age, even in terms of housewife, you'll ask, sometimes people will say something like, do you work or are you a housewife? So, you know, the work in the home, the work in looking after the children, the work in, you know, all of the things that need to be done in the background, like remembering people's birthdays, taking, you know, the kids to where they need to go, remembering to look after all our relatives. That is kind of an expectation on the part of women. It is expected that they will do that free gratis. It's not even considered work. I mean, how many of you, when you were taking care of the kids, maybe when they were smaller, that were considered, you know, you're a stay-at-home mom, so therefore you're not working? And how many of you felt that? I mean, I know I felt that when I had the children small. It felt like, you know, I was educated, I went through university, I had been working, but then when I had the boys very small, I needed to stay at home from work. And it felt like, you know, whiplash back to the 1950s, where I was expected to work like oftentimes 12 hours a day and get up at night. And it wasn't even considered work, because, you know, I wasn't contributing, you know, to the rent, or I wasn't contributing to the household. But in actual fact, the household couldn't run, or, you know, my husband couldn't go out and work if that wasn't done in the background. But that is the expectation, and it can be very, very painful for us women. But we are taught that our labor is an expectation. So then when we start trying to put ourselves out there and ask for money, it feels like we are going to be excommunicated. I remember when I started talking about money initially in my business, and helping personal stylists to make money, I felt like I would be excommunicated, that, you know, I was doing something wrong by talking about helping women to earn money, by earning money myself. And I remember this kind of phrase going around in my head. I used to think that, you know, people watching me would think, oh, that one would sell her granny. And I mean, I found it so hard to overcome that people were judging me, because, you know, as a woman on social media, you know, asking for money or showing women how to make money, it felt really icky. And it took me a long time to get over that, because we are taught that we should be doing things for free. We are taught from a young age and all the way through womanhood that we should be doing things for free. Jan said, yes, even when I was working my business, my mom described what I did as passing the time. Oh my God, Jan, that is so painful. That reminds me of one time my dad said to me, you know, why are you doing all this? You know, you don't need to do this. You know, your husband will take care of you. So it is so ingrained. And I remember, you know, feeling really stung and it feeling really painful. You know, that I was putting in all this work and people were just disregarding it and not appreciating it. So, you know, when you feel these things in your body, and oftentimes you feel them in your body, and sometimes you don't even register what's going on in your mind, but you feel it in your body when somebody says to you, you know, you're passing the time, or is that your hobby, or that is really painful, you know. Julie said, I was lucky. Both my parents worked as a doctor and a teacher, so they expected the same for me. Yeah, so people's circumstances make a big difference. You had an amazing role model, probably, Julie, in your mother, whereas my mother, you know, gave up her work when she had us, and she worked inside and she worked outside because we had a farm. So, oh my God, I mean, my father was amazing in that he really felt that, you know, his money was their money, but that is not the way it is seen in many, many households. So, you know, oftentimes we don't have a role model. I didn't really have a role model. I did have one auntie who worked in the bank, all right, but again, she had no children and she was seen as a bit of an outcast, maybe a bit bolshy, you know. it's really to. It really wasn't perceived as feminine to be a go-getter and asking for money and, you know, throwing money around or talking about money. It really, really wasn't. So, you know, we were taught that labor is an expectation, and that's just the culture that many of us have been brought up on. You know, I feel quite differently about that now, and I'm so glad that I can show my boys that, you know, women are equal. They can have an equal career. They can have, you know, all the things that they want to have. They can have a say in, you know, how their life is and how they want their life to be. And I feel like that I'm setting an example for the women that they will have in their lives. And I think that's really, really important. Okay, so that was number 2. Let me find number 3. I don't know where number 3 has gone here. Yes, I need to go back to StreamYard, so hide that one. How good am I at getting to showing these things on the screen? I'm doing quite well, haven't I? Okay, so number 3, women are not encouraged to talk about money. Absolutely not. You know, in polite society, women don't talk about money, and they're not really given the opportunity to talk about money oftentimes. You know, I think men get to talk about their bonuses, you know, they're on the golf course, they're discussing, you know, who got what, they're talking about raises, they're talking about their staff. I mean, I don't really hear that kind of conversation in women's circles. Maybe you're different. Maybe you have heard women talking openly about money. I definitely haven't. What I have maybe heard is that, you know, some women get their husband's credit cards and some don't. And I find that fascinating that men talk about money very differently from women. And definitely, for me personally, it was a huge point of shame when I started talking about money on social media initially. I found it really, really difficult. Sometimes, you know, I would put a post in social media and I mightn't sleep for 2 nights. And it was really, really, really difficult for me to talk about, you know, helping personal stylists get to consistent income. And it took practice. It took doing it. It took feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Lots of people, I feel the fear and then they stop. But, you know, you have to push through the fear. The fear it's going to get less over time. Definitely now when I speak about money, I feel a lot more comfortable, you know, 5 years later. But in the early days, it was very difficult. So it's like anything. When you get used to talking about it, when you get used to putting it out there, when you get used to setting the boundaries with potential clients, it gets easier. It doesn't mean you won't feel icky every now and again. Like just last week, I got a request from a client. She wrote to me and she said, I'd love to get my colors done. Can you recommend somebody that's really affordable? Again, she wanted to get it done on the cheap. So she wanted my recommendation. So she wanted my recommendation on a good color consultant, but she wanted to get it done on the cheap. And I was just here, actually, no, this is the price to get a color analysis done. This is how much you charge. And she never came back again, you know, because, you know, people want things for free. They want the service, but they don't necessarily want to pay the price. So, you know, I'm very clear now when people come to me and they're trying to get a freebie. I'm very clear that, you know, this is the cost of the service. And unfortunately, I'm not going to do it for any less than this. And people will even try to trick you into doing something for them. Like when I came here to France first, somebody said, invited me for a cup of coffee. And, you know, I was at the early stages, I was meeting people, and they just invited me to pick my brain. They invited me to pick my brain and then, you know, bought me a cup of coffee. I mean, that was absolutely, to me, you know, a sneaky thing to do. And I would never do that to somebody else. So I think it's really, really important to notice how people, notice kind of, first of all, what kind of people you're attracting, and become aware of what's actually happening, what kind of reaction you're having in your body, slow down and kind of think about, how am I going to handle this? Now, if you're a part of a mastermind or if you're part of a group, definitely I would bring the question to the community or the group you're in and ask them their opinion, because oftentimes we do things that we end up resenting, and that doesn't really help anyone. So the key takeaways I want you to take from these 3 points that I'm just made is that as women, it is difficult to charge our worth. As women, it is difficult to set our prices because we have been told that, you know, all of the reasons that I said already, that we're expected to work for free in many cases, that we're not being polite, and that, you know, we're not being polite in society if we charge our prices. So I think it's key to understand that it's difficult, and you will need to practice a new mindset. You will need to feel the fear around asking the price that you want and to stick to your guns. Because somebody else said in the poll, and that I put in the group earlier, that, you know, they offer their service, there's a price associated with their service, and then the client comes back and says, is this included? Is this included? And this included? And then, you know, she was saying she feels reluctant to go back and tell them because she might lose the client. Believe me, go back and tell them that those are additional services. Go back and tell them that there's an additional price associated with those. If you lose the client, they are not the client for you. They really are not the client for you. Let them go. Because that's where the boundary comes in. You have to be willing to say, I would prefer to let this client go than continue this conversation, because I'm just going to end up feeling resentful. And I have definitely done that over the course of the last 5 years. I've said to clients, this is the price. You either come at this price or we're not working together. And I've had to practice that and getting used to that. Claire said, I'm better at this now, but you're right. We've been conditioned to not be comfortable talking about money. It's ingrained in us. Yeah. And if we are to have a successful styling business, it's not enough to be a brilliant stylist. We need to become excellent businesswomen as well. And one of the key components of being an excellent businesswoman is to be able to talk about our prices, set prices, and have a good mindset around prices. You can still do it politely. You don't have to be bolshy or horrible or anything like that. You just need to be firm. And I know all you guys know how to be firm. I know you know how to be firm. So those are the 3 reasons why we struggle to charge. Next, what I want to talk about is, so what do you do now? So you know you have a problem, and you know that, you know, you're feeling this fear when a potential client comes back and says, you know, I think your prices are too high. Now, the next question I have for you is, how many of you have you had somebody say that your prices are too high? I want you in the comments, say right now, put up your hand or say yes, that you have had clients who have said that your prices are too high. Now, I know in the poll already that many of you have said that, you know, people have said to you that your prices are too high. I have definitely had people say to me, your prices are too high. But on the flip side, I have had clients who said, you have an amazing service, you changed my life, your money, your course or whatever I provided was worth its weight in gold. And you know where stylists focus on? They focus on the few people that said their prices were too expensive. Guess which clients I want? I want the ones who said they had an amazing experience and that my service was worth its weight in gold. Yet we focus on the few people that said our prices were too expensive. You have to focus on the people who see value in what you provide. You do not want the people who are struggling with your prices. You do not want those people because they are the most difficult people to service. I promise you, you get them in, they want more, they keep coming back. They are a pain in the butt. Excuse my French. What you really want are the clients who truly value what you're providing. You're going to get amazing testimonials from those clients. You're going to attract more of those clients. Your confidence is going to improve. Your self-esteem is going to improve just by being firm with your boundaries. These people over here who want more and more and more and who are struggling with your prices, they will never be happy. They will never be happy. And one thing I also want to bring up at this point is that, start to become aware of how you are around money. So for instance, if you struggle, if you're the person that said everything is expensive, you don't invest in yourself, you think everything is expensive, you struggle to spend anything on yourself, you always go for the cheapest thing, you're kind of a bit of a cheapskate. That is the kind of clients you're going to attract, because we attract the same energy, the same vibe to ourselves. So start to become aware of how you are when a bill comes in and you have to pay the bill. Are you really fearful? Are you resentful that you have to pay that? How we are with money. For instance, if we bury our head in the sand around money and don't want to talk about it or see it or ask anything about it, that is a sure sign that you are going to struggle with getting, clients that are going to pay good prices for what you provide. Pay prices that actually are equivalent to the value that you provide. So for me, pricing is all about mindset. I know that all of you are providing amazing value. I know that. It's just that your mindset around money is oftentimes the problem. It's the block. I see it in my Stylepreneur Accelerator all the time when people go to set prices, when they go to, say they're setting up a membership, they set it at a possibly low, this really low number. And I'm here, why would you work for that? I mean, even if you were working in a sweet shop, you'd make more than that. That is mindset. That is mindset. They tell me people won't pay. People tell me people won't pay all the time, but they will. People will pay if they see value in what you're providing. And if you believe in the value of what you're providing, but it's mindset. It's mindset. Now, at this point, I want to share the poll that I did in the group. And if you polled in the group, or if any of these are, how you would respond to the question of struggling with constantly undercharging. Here are a few questions. So get your pen and paper out. Here are a few questions to ask yourself that will get you thinking in terms of maybe there's another way of looking at this. So you were telling me why you struggle with constantly undercharging for your work. And this is top of the list was your audience have told you that your prices are too high. So 30% of people who polled, about 33 people polled, told you that your prices are too high. Now, there will always be people who can't afford you. Even if you were charging $10, there will be people who can't afford you. So if you're in business, it is a rite of passage that you will get people who will tell you that they can't afford your services. People tell me all the time that they can't afford my services. And even if I reduced my prices, people would still tell me that they can't afford my services. That's never going to go away. What's really important is that you're clear in the value of what you provide and you set boundaries, and you then start to attract people who are willing to pay your prices. So your audience told you your prices are too high it's not here nor there. You'll always have people in your audience who will tell you that. and you just have to disregard them and focus on the people who are willing to pay your prices. Because I know that there's people out there that will pay your prices. And as I said, there is a percentage of my audience who will think that my prices are too high, and that's their business. It's nothing to do with me. It definitely doesn't impact how I set my prices. I focus on the value I provide, and I always think of return on investment. What will this person get from this service? And it's the same with, getting your colors or getting your style, or, doing a shopping trip with people. What is the return on investment? They are going to get a massive return in terms of savings, in terms of like time, in terms of how confident they're going to feel. There is always a return on investment in the services you're providing, and you have to understand that. So the first question I would ask you here, if you told me your audience has told you your prices are too high, is there people in your audience who are willing to pay your price? And are you focusing on those people? Or are you focusing on the few that said your prices are too low? That's the question I would ask there. Okay, 27% of you said you feel you don't have enough experience yet. Again, it's the same thing again. You have enough experience for some people. Yes, you might have enough experience for everyone, but even if you're starting out in color analysis, you're going to be able to help people who know nothing about color analysis. You're going to be able to help them to pick out colors that look amazing on them. So, you always have, all you have to be in terms of your client, potential clients, is one step ahead. Are you one step ahead of your perfect client? This is the question to ask here. If you are, you have enough experience to be helping this person. You have enough experience to be helping this person, and experience comes with doing. Experience comes with doing the thing, doing the color analysis. So, I, for instance, had to start with my first color analysis. Now, many years later, thousands and thousands and thousands of color analysis later, I have become an expert, but I had to start at day one. And that's the question to ask here. If this thought that I don't have enough experience yet, I can't charge this price. You have to start, and you have to start getting experience. And the only thing you need to be is one step ahead of your client. And 27% said that my audience think they have enough taste to find their style without my service. Now, maybe they do. Maybe they do. And maybe you're focusing on the wrong audience or the wrong ideal client. An example of that for me was, I was personal styling in Singapore, and I felt I could really help people. When I moved here to the south of France, I didn't know the shops. People had a very different way of dressing, and people were very stylish. My audience knew more than I did. So they were not my perfect client. The moms at school, for instance, they were not my perfect client. They felt they knew more than me, and they did. So you have to find the audience who you can actually help. Don't go for an audience, that you can't help them with their color or style. They know more than you, or they feel they know more than you. You have to, choose an ideal client that needs your help. So the bit of advice I give people all the time is look back over the course of your own history and think, when could I have done with help myself? Look back over the course of your own life and think to yourself, when could I have done with some style help? Usually it's some kind of transition in life. It might be transition into a new job. It might be transition through menopause. It might be transition after a divorce. So you really have to think about, maybe the audience does know more than you, or maybe they feel they know more than you. Well, then that's not the right audience, because then you're going to spend the whole time trying to convince them, and that's like really difficult. Okay, so that was 27%. And then we had a few others. I'm afraid clients won't want to pay more than I'm currently charging and then end up with less clients. Yeah. So that's fear. So feel the fear and do it anyway. Push through. This is your price. This is how much your service costs. And you have to be willing to let them go. Let the clients go who are unwilling to pay your fees, because those clients are going to be truly difficult, and they take your focus off getting much, much better clients. And it's this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. So focus again on the clients who are willing to see value in what you provide and who will pay for what you're providing. You don't have adequate training. There's loads of people out there doing styling without training. So either go and get training or continue working, full stop. You're always being paid a salary and have never had to ask for money. Yes, this is a struggle for a lot of people. And this kind of ties in with that whole idea of, money just coming into your bank account every month, and you're working for it, but you don't really have to ask anyone for it. That definitely, when I came out of corporate life and started working in a small business, it was a massive shock for me that I actually had to ask people for money. And it's a transition, and you're going to need to practice, and you're going to need to push through the fear, all of the things that I have been saying already. So any questions for me? Pop them in the group right now. Any questions for me? Hashtag replay if you're watching this on replay. I'm also going to be running a new masterclass very, very soon. I've written down the title of it here. It's going to be the mindset and strategy for consistent 3 to 5K, month styling business. I do have a little wait list, so you can sign up for the wait list. I'm just going to copy that in here right now and put it on the screen for you. I'm also going to put it in the comments, so you can actually get on the wait list, so you can know when I'm running this. How do I put this in the comments? Oh yeah, I can put it in here. Okay. So that you can, I've just put it in the comments right now, so that you can learn more about the mindset and the strategy involved in getting consistent income. A lot of it is mindset. Honestly, a lot of around pricing is mindset. And if you can master that, and if you can get beyond the limiting beliefs, it's really, really helpful. So if you would like to delve a little bit deeper into the mindset and strategy for consistent 3 to 5K months, then click on this link and sign up to get on the wait list. And I will let you know as soon as this masterclass is ready. I'm working on it right now, and it's going to be completely free. But you do need to sign up to get access to it. So click on the link. I've also put it on the screen. I put it in the comments. You can click on this and you can sign up and get on the wait list. It's coming in the next couple of weeks. So you want to be on there, and I will notify you closer to the time what the dates and the times of the masterclass are going to be. So get yourself in there on the wait list, and we're going to delve deeper into this, because I'm kind of passionate about this subject, because you can be absolutely the best personal stylist on the planet, but if you don't master your mindset around pricing and charging your work, you're going to be a very, very poor personal stylist doing a lot of free work probably. And nobody wants that. You want to be, making consistent 3 to 5K income at a minimum to, have the kind of lifestyle that you want, to afford the things you want, go on the holidays you want, to contribute at home maybe, for me, to do all the training, to attend all the conferences, to do all the things that you want in your life. So that is my Friday live for this week. I hope there is something in there that sparked you to think about, what questions should you be asking yourself, and how can you get beyond these limiting mindsets that have been ingrained in us from tiny children all the way up. It requires work. It requires awareness around that, and then it requires feeling the fear and moving through those. So thank you to everyone who joined live. I really appreciate that. Get on the wait list, and I will let you know when I'm ready to run that masterclass, so we go even deeper into the strategies and the mindset of consistent 3 to 5K months. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And I will talk to you all again next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.